how to farm ginger in sack or container. Now, the first thing after obtaining your rhizome is to cut it into pieces. The pieces can be between anything between 3 to 5 centimeters, or it can be as low as 2 centimeters. What makes your decision of the cut size is the presence of pods. What I mean by what? The eye. The eye where the sprouting is expected to start. So you need to have something that will be not less than 1 eye per cut. So anything between 1 to 2 eye in your cut is okay. So you can see where that knife or blade is going to be made into it. Then the next one, after cutting, we are talking about disease prevention. So you have to treat it with ash or fungicide. How do you go about the treatment? You get ash, sieve it, remove all the bigger particles. Why are you doing so? For easy dissolution, so that can be easily dissolved. Then you put it into water. So you are going to have what? Ash water solution. In terms of quantity, you can use 1:10. Are we getting it now? What I mean by 1:10. Let's say you have one container of ash. You can use water 10 times that container to dissolve it. That's what I mean by 1:10. The ratio is. So after dissolving the ash, you now the rhizome that you have now cut, you now put them into the ash. You are soaking them for 30 minutes. After the soaking, you now bring them out and dry them under shade. Dry in cut. I'm not saying that they are going to be dry. All what you have there is that the cut surface should now be dry, should be hard, it should be callous. You are trying to prevent entry of pathogen that will cause disease. That's why you air dry in shade. Then the dry can take 24 to 48 hours. Then you want to 2 days. Just make sure that the surface that has been cut has dried out. Only the surface. So we're talking about preparation of the sack and container now. If you could remember, we talked about the depth of the container. We said that use a container. I don't want to just say sack. It could be sack, it could be any container. Or the depth should be not less than 30 centimeters. Anything between 30 to 30 centimeters, which is closely equivalent to 12 to 15 inches, is okay. You now punch it. You have some punctures. The essence of the punctures is to allow for water seepage. We don't want to create a waterlogged condition. The place should not be soggy. So the number of punches you are going to make depending on the material. If the material is semi-permeable, it means you can make a lesser number of punches. Or it is non-permeable, you are using, let's say, jerry can. You see, you are not expecting from the body anywhere where the moisture will go out. So you have to make what? The number of punches. But when you are using maybe something like jute bags, you know jute bags? Those bags that I don't know, the people selling dead fruit and cola nuts, they are using. So you can see that one is highly permeable. So you can see the number of punches will be less. Now, having done that, the next thing is to fill the sack with the soil. Remember the composition. We say 4 is to 3. You now fill it. The filling can be up to 3/4, meaning that you don't need to fill it to the brim. No. Please, you need to have some space there. And why do you need to have space? Because remember we talked about the issue of mulching material. So you're going to mulch. So if there is no space to accommodate the mulching material, after putting it, it will now be blown off. Are we getting it? Another one, it encourages erosion. Aeration, not erosion. Aeration. That's the entry of gases. Awesome. Thank you very much. Are we getting it? Now, another one is it prevents erosion. Encourage aeration, prevent erosion. Are we together on this? That's the essence of having something like 1/4 of it to be empty. But the issue of space and filling has to do with what? The size of your container. In fact, we're not even saying that you must just use only 50 kg bag. You can use 100 kg bag. Are you getting it now? So if you are going to use 100 kg bag, instead of putting it vertically, it's going to work maybe horizontally. Don't take your rhizome and plant it horizontally. That's flat. The next one should be planted, not just flat, but the eye or the bud should be made in such a way that it will be facing upward, upright. Try as much as possible. Meaning that when you have more than one eye per cut, one may be facing the other side. You now try to turn it. If it's not facing upright, maybe sideways. But it should neither be facing downward. Now, remember, you've already got your rhizome into between 3 or 2 to 5 centimeters. And we say that it should contain not less than one functional visible eye or bud. We say it should contain between 1 to 2 buds. The spacing between one seed now, I want to call the cut rhizome to be seed. The spacing between seed should be anything between 8 to 10 centimeters, which is maybe between 3 to 4 inches. Now, after putting them, you now cover what you have there with a thin layer of soil. And the thin layer I'm talking about should be anything between 5 to 10 centimeters. Now with this spacing, you can be able to have nothing less than 4 to 6 seeds in a sack, or depending on what the size of the sack. What I mean by the size, I mean the diameter. The diameter. If you have the one that has larger diameter, it means you have what? Larger number of pots, up to maybe 6. Then the one that has lesser diameter, you cannot compare the diameter of a rice sack with that of cement sack. Isn't it? The rice sack is having larger diameter, so it means it contains more number of seeds compared to that of cement. Now, having done that, you don't need to water it lightly, but thoroughly. Now, having planted your rhizome and you have watered it, the next thing is to mulch. If you could remember, we mentioned some of the materials that could be used for mulching. Here we only mentioned straw, dry grass, and sawdust. But we're now saying that even dry leaves can be used. If you're an area where they have this banana, even those banana leaves can also be used. The essence of mulching is to have some form of moisture conservation. That's number one. Number two, prevention of erosion. Now when you're watering, the loose soil will not be eroded away. At the same time, maintaining the temperature level within that specific container. You see, when you are able to suppress weed, it means you don't need to spend anything when it comes to the issue of what weeding. You spend less in sack farming because even the weeding exercise has been taken care of. Now the aspect of watering and manual. When we're mentioning the items required, we say there must be water source and watering gardens. You need to be watering it 2 to 3 times weekly. Or the watering depends on the season. Remember, we said that in this sack farming, you can make it all year round. Meaning that you can even do it during dry season. So during dry season, the relative humidity is what? Is very low. So the airborne transpiration is very high. So you may likely have up to 3 times watering per week. But if it is maybe toward the end of rainy season, when the relative humidity is still high, then the number of frequency will be low. Keep the soil moist or not soggy. It shouldn't be waterlogged. Why? Because waterlogged condition can easily result to rotting of the root. So when the root has rotted, what do you expect? Meaning that the plant will now be unable to absorb nutrients. So it will start dying off. Then add compost manure after 6 to 8 weeks. Despite the fact that we are trying to discourage the utilization of synthetic fertilizer, but for those that may not likely have access maybe to this issue of manuring due to one reason or the other, that's why I decided to bring the table and portray how you are going to apply fertilizer. Now, when you look at it, from the soil preparation, which the one we capture as before planting there, we said that poultry manure or compost should be used. We're encouraging the use of compost manure, even if you want to use synthetic fertilizer. But at the very beginning, make sure that you use compost manure. The quantity stated you are seeing there is per sack, please. And that mixture is enough to provide the nutrient needs of the plant for the next coming 4 weeks. Meaning that the next fertilizer application should be 4th week after planting. And even the fertilizer is not just any fertilizer, no. It has to be NPK 15, 15, 15. We are trying to balance the issue of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Because when you have too much of nitrogen, you only end up encouraging vegetative growth with poor rhizome formation. And this is something that produces some good rhizome. At the same time, when you have too much of nitrogen, it means even the potency will be less spicy. Are you getting it now? So we try as much as possible to use a balanced NPK. The quantity that is there stated, then with 10, so with 8 to 10. That's another 4 weeks after the first application now. You can come in and apply the second dose. But application is not just that I want to apply fertilizer. No. You need to be observant enough to see that your plants require nutrients. Because all we are doing when it comes to fertilizer application is just that we are trying to supplement what the plants require for them to thrive and do well. The application could be anything between 8 to 10 weeks after planting. Then the third one, which is very optional, is maybe 3 months after the planting. That's at about 4 weeks after planting. But that one is very special. Look at it. Look at even the composition of NPK there. We said NPK 12-17. You can see that nitrogen and phosphorus, they have a similar level, but the potassium content is higher. Are you getting it now? And we say that you need to augment it with magnesium or with ash. Why is it so? Because you are trying to make sure that the oil formation and potency of the rhizome is enhanced. Ginger is a spice. What makes it to be a spice? Because of that potency. So there is no pungent there. Now, there are some comments there. We say, which ash, that's potassium boosts pungency. You should not exceed 40 grams of NPK per sack per month. No matter what. Maybe you see that your plants are looking deficient in nutrients. Try as much as possible not to apply something that exceeded 40 grams per month. Monitor very closely for pests and all diseases. When you see the presence of pests, you can use neem-based spray. I don't just want to say neem oil, please. I'm now saying neem-based spray. Because neem-based spray can come from 3 different formations. It could be from neem leaves, it could be from neem seeds, it could be from neem oil. If it is animal products, if it is organically produced, it's commanding premium. Now, how do we go about manuring when you are trying to practice organic? Now, look at the table there, please. Week 1, it's the same thing as the first one. The soil mixture, you have it there. Then week 4 also, you have the, what they call liquid compost tea or fermented plant juice. Then the next one, week 8, similar to that other one. We say week 4, week 8, week 12, if you could remember. Now, week 8, you can have neem cake or cow dung flour. So there's also another one. This one is not a spray. It's not spray, it's neem cake, which is serving as well a manure. I only mentioned and bring in the synthetic fertilizer for the purpose of mentioning, because we are encouraging organic production. Because anything that comes out from organic used to command premium market. Anything. Then week 16 plus, we now mulch for moisture retention. So there's a lot there we say always use well to compost manure to avoid root borne. Please, when we're mentioning this manure, whether it is poultry dropping, cow dung, it's more preferable that you allow them to get decomposed. When they are decomposed, even after application, you know how they call root borne. Then combine different organic sources, maintain proper drainage, avoid synthetic fertilizer, because you are practicing what we call organic farming. Next step is sunlight. Now, for sunlight, make sure that wherever you are going to place your material now, planted material, whether it is sack or whatever, to be in a place where these plants will be able to receive anything between 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. We are not saying that it should be scorching sun, not intense solar radiation. That's why it's been said that maybe a filtered fan. If you don't have that one, you try to create what they call a microclimate. You should be always in constant watch, trying to see what is happening to your plants. If anything happens, maybe you notice the presence of a infestation, then you can quickly go and use those neem-based spray. But when you are making the spray, please concentrate more on the lower side of the leaves. Because some of us will just be spraying on the top of it. Whereas the pests may likely hide under the leaf blades. Are we getting it? At the same time, also target the shoots, because they are very soft and succulent. They can easily be destroyed by the pests. Harvesting, yes, that's the ultimate. Harvesting should come anything between 8 to 10 weeks. What will determine when to harvest is the maturity level, which you can be able to see. What you see first is the issue of leaves turning yellow and drying. When it comes to the replanting now, as a farmer that want to continue, you can select from your harvest, select the best one. Because this one, you know where they come from. Are you getting it? You select the best ones for future replanting. Then you may use the soil, or you can take a fresh one. But it's usually frowned out to reuse the soil. If it is necessary that you must reuse it, then you have to sterilize the soil. Now, by the time you notice that they have started turning yellow and drying, and they have already reached 8 months, you can harvest. You don't need to wait. Then, when it comes to harvesting, you can gently dug out, or rather you can tear. You tear off the sack and remove the rhizome. Now replanting, next slide please. There are 3 ways of soil sterilization. You can use solarization. Solarization meaning that you expose the soil to solar radiation. There is a way you do it. There is hot water treatment. There could be addition of dim ash or neem cake. Now, go to the next slide please. Expected yield. I think that's what we are all after. Because we talk about what? Efficiency, improvement of yield, isn't it? So, based on research, we have seen that you can be able to get nothing less than 1.5 to 3 kilograms of ginger rhizome per sack. Now, if I want to go by conservative estimates, let's assume that you just get 2 kilograms of ginger as a harvest. And you use a room size. I'm not saying the inside room. I want to use room size, maybe an average room size of something like say 4 meters by 5 meters. And I'm trying to say that per meter, you can be able to keep 10 sacks per meter. Sorry, let's look at 4 by 5. That's the size of the land, which is going to be what? 4 by 5. I think it's 20 meters square. 20 meters square. Now per sack, you have an average of what? Sorry, 9 sacks. 9 sacks. 3 per square meter. 2 kg. You multiply it by 20. What do you think?
40.
Can you see? Now let's look at it that if per assuming, maybe using conservative estimate also, that 1 kg is 2,000 naira. What do you see? The rest is yours. Now the next slide, professional tips. Now use drip bottle irrigation for better moisture control. Yes, we don't want you to come and start pouring water anyhow. Maybe you carry cup You carry cup and start watering. No. Use something like watering can that has some holes there that can control the water. Use bottle water that has some holes. Use drip irrigation. So I get it now. You try to minimize water wastage. We said maximize water utilization and minimize water wastages or loss. Now, dry ginger for value-added products. The value addition is paramount because most of the profit are gotten from value addition. If you only plant your ginger and just sell it fresh, you are left out of this. You are missing a lot.